Hey there everyone, my name is Amber Horsley. I'm a resident here at the Hayden Institute, and today what we're going to be doing is talking a little bit about diabetes type 2. What causes it, how can we prevent it, and how can we treat it? So diabetes is something that is a pandemic. It's crippling hundreds and thousands of Americans, and it can come from a variety of different things. It can come a little bit from genetics, comes from stress, comes from the way we're eating, and just the way that our body's metabolizing the food that we're eating is one of the big foundations of how it occurs. So to really understand, we have to kind of take a step back and look at how our bodies should break down food and what the normal response is when we eat our lunch and our dinner, and what our body should do with those nutrients. So when you eat, what happens is that your food passes down into your stomach and your small intestines, and is broken down there into tiny particles such as proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are also known as sugars. And so one of these little particles is called glucose. And glucose is the marker that is oftentimes looked on blood work to kind of monitor for diabetes. And so when glucose comes into the body, what happens is this other little hormone called insulin activates little channels that allows that glucose to get into cells. And this is very important because that glucose is needed to be able to create energy within those cells. And so that's what happens normally, is that the sugar comes in, it enters the bloodstream, and then insulin signals and allows that blood sugar to get into the cells itself. However, let's say that you were to rush this morning and you went out and you grabbed a coffee as well as a donut and maybe a candy bar for a snack. Well, what happens when you have these high sugary foods? What happens is that when they come in, your body breaks them down into their small molecules. There's a lot of glucose there, a lot of sugar. And so what happens is that glucose is going to spike very, very high, very, very fast. So then there has to be a big insulin surge that's going to allow all of that glucose to get into the cells. And it does right away. So all of that glucose comes into the cells, and so that's what happens. You have this spike of blood sugar, but then as soon as it's all absorbed, it drops. And with that drop, you have that fatigue, that crash. And so you're just like, where's another candy bar? Where's another something I can eat that can give me that energy again? And so that's a problem from that standpoint, because you're having these crashes and things like that, as well as from over time, those insulin, that hormone is going to be like, I'm tired, dude, I can't do this anymore. I can't have all these surges. And so it's going to start becoming resistant, called insulin resistance. So whenever all that glucose comes in, the insulin receptors aren't going to function properly. They're going to get down in number, and they're not going to be as receptive to activate and to allow that glucose to go into the cells. And so at that point, glucose starts to rise in the bloodstream, and then oftentimes spilling over into the urine as well. And so that's what we kind of classically see with diabetes type 2. And how you can prevent it is by eating foods that are much lower in carbohydrates and oftentimes higher in fats, because fats are anti-inflammatory, and they're going to help you get all those nutrients into your tissues, so all your different vitamins and minerals and things like that into your tissues, as well as decrease all the inflammatory load that we get from our normal American diet. And having a lower carbohydrate diet will allow us to balance that blood sugar, so then your insulin doesn't have to have that workout all the time, and that your body can start to burn fat more than it's burning those carbohydrates. And so that's a very fundamental part of what you can do right away to start to decrease your outlook for diabetes. And that's a good treatment, as well as prevention. And so before you even start having diabetes, if you can go to your practitioner and get some supplements that are beneficial for you and for balancing your blood sugar and your hormone levels, as well as eating whole foods, organic foods such as fruits and vegetables that have lots of different nutrients and vitamins and minerals. That's going to help you in that realm, especially if you can have them with maybe some good quality butter, like Kerrygold butter or coconut oil, or these different fats. That's going to allow that raise of fat that will get those different vitamins and minerals that you eat from that salad into your bloodstream, into your tissues where it needs to go. So those are a couple different things that you can look at, you can think about when it comes to diabetes, for how it actually occurs, what is another thing you can do to treat as well as prevent diabetes type 2. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at amber@haydeninstitute.com. Thank you very much. Have a great day.